Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Wrapping up today's program, do want to mention today's program brought to you in part by some really great sponsors, including EfficientWealthManagement.com and Four Guys Interactive. That's fourguys.com. I'm going to go to our final guest on today's program, and he's Timothy Spell. He's with a company called Open Water. That's getopenwater.com. Timothy, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Kind of tell us a little bit about Open Water.
Sure. So Open Water is our main focus is on awards and contests. So, a lot of organizations, they might have an annual awards program like the American Dental Association or something like that, Dentist of the Year. So this is an online system where, people can apply online and, then there's a panel of judges to pick winners, and then voila, Dentist of the Year is picked. So a system that kind of does all that.
Timothy, by the way, participated in a series of articles that we did on cold calling, what you love and hate about cold calling. And you can find that at priceofbusiness.com. That's priceofbusiness.com. What do you love about cold calling?
Well, it's been money, and that's really, as a sales and, business owner, the number one priority. So I don't think there's anything glamorous about cold calling, but it's a necessary thing that needs to be done to make sure that money's coming in.
What do you do to try to mitigate that discomfort, that kind of yuckiness I think is associated with cold calling? What do you try to do to mitigate that? Either emotionally or how to make it less profound, cold calling. What do you do?
Well, there's a couple things. The first and foremost is I wouldn't say we actually make cold calls anymore. What we do a lot is warm them up a little. So we'll send them an email introduction, and then based on that, we'll then call them. So a lot of times people might kind of be expecting our call, and now it's more of just a casual conversation. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to put it that way, and a lot of times you have to get in the mindset of, if they really have some problems, if they really have a problem with their awards or their contests, they want to have me call them. Mm-hmm. So getting into that mentality as opposed to, I'm bothering them. No, I mean, if I'm going to help them out by giving them something like this. So getting in that mindset is one of the biggest things.
Yeah. So you got to get thinking like they're thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do? What do you hate about cold calling? Beyond the obvious. I mean, this is probably something that we could both pontificate on for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, one of the hardest things is making sure you carve out time to do it. I mean, everyone has an excuse for not making calls. There's always something else to do. And that's one of my biggest struggles is making sure that, I blocked off, Tuesday, Thursday mornings to make calls. And I can't schedule anything else in those times. And that's sometimes a struggle for me, just time management. So just being disciplined, having a plan, keeping yourself accountable, but then having someone keep you accountable as well. So my business partner, he makes sure he keeps me accountable for these type of things as well.
How large is your company, and how large are your clients?
I'm sorry?
How large is your company, and then how large are your clients?
We're 15 employees. Most of our clients, our ideal client, might be anywhere between $20 and $50 million in annual revenue. So
relatively small or mid-size.
Right. I mean, there's some that, it might be a little bit smaller. It might only be, $1 million or $2 million of revenue. There's others that are a little bit bigger, but that's kind of the sweet spot. Any bigger and, places might just have hire some programmer to develop this themselves.
Uh-huh. So let me ask you, are you interested in reaching larger companies, or do you feel like your company isn't as good of a fit for enterprise-level companies? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it really depends on if they have an awards program. A lot of these, places that are that big actually, they wind up not having that kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean, our goal is to obviously get into these larger companies. It's part of the plan. We've started out in our niche of these smaller to mid-size organizations, and we're slowly increasing up. One of the problems is that, a lot of like Microsoft or Google, they might have internal awards programs. But we just started kind of marketing towards that, so it's part of the next step of targeting those larger places.
Timothy Spell, he's been my guest, and delighted to be able to spend some time with him here on today's program. And I want to give you the opportunity to learn more about what he does. Go to GetOpenWater.com. GetOpenWater.com. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Tim.
I appreciate it. All right, do want to remind the listener, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. Have a great day, and spend it right here on this station.